Well, here we go again, folks. Get more adventures into the unknown for me. And I'm going to post all this, of course, because it might help somebody else out. We've got, this is my main computer, believe it or not. It's a Lenovo M58P small form factor. It's been a really nice unit for me. It's an old Core 2 Duo, which has been my main machine for quite some time. But recently we've been getting ambitious and we want to start trying to do a little gaming and possibly some streaming. Which is why, if you look at one of my previous videos to this, we got the old Dell that we did an upgrade on. It's a Core 2 Quad. Got some more RAM in it, got a video card in it. We're going to see if we can't game on that. And maybe use the old Lenovo as a stream deck. According to my research, it should work. As long as nobody's expecting super high quality on the end of the stream, it'll be adequate. Should be able to kick out 720p. Not so bad. But I was going to update this at the same time I did the Dell. Ran into a bit of a problem with the RAM. The Task Manager told me the RAM was DDR2. Actually, this machine came with DDR3, believe it or not. So the RAM I ordered wouldn't fit. So we had to put the old RAM back in it. It's working fine. But I cleaned it out. Made sure everything was nice. Put new thermal paste in, new CMOS battery. But ever since I did that, it's been having a little bit of a problem. And jury's still out about what might be causing it, but it used to just sit there and run quiet all the time. No matter what I did, I could process video, I could watch 1080p videos. You would never ever hear the fans. But since I cleaned it up and put the new battery in it and put it back, it'll just spool up out of nowhere, especially if you're looking at any piece of video on the web, even as low as 480p. But as soon as you stop the video, it'll just spool back down. Very weird. Never did that before. So, it's a problem. Checked all the sites, the boards, the threads. Nobody seems to have an idea about what it's about. Exactly. These machines seem to be a little funky on some things. Otherwise, they're very solid. The headset I got, Logitech G430, I had this plugged in and working on this thing before I cleaned it and didn't have the fan problem. And I mentioned that for a reason. I'll tell you in a minute. But when I did all this, I also got a KVM switch, which is a switch for your keyboard and mouse. So you can use the same keyboard and mouse to control two different computers. And it's down there, that little green light. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. And according to some boards, some USB plugins, these little machines, for some reason, don't like them, and it'll cause fan speed problems. So it could be that. It also could be a thermal sensor that's in here, which is on the back side of this front plate. Let me grab my piece over here. It's 12 years old. I mean, it could be, wearing out the thermal sensor. It could be getting too sensitive, getting out of range, whatever. But we found a brand new one on eBay for $8 shipped. It's a Dell part. It's got the right number on it. It's got a 3-pin socket. There's a little thermistor transistor at the end of this. Transistors, everybody says, oh, transistors never wear out. Well, they can. I did some research on that too. So we're going to take the old one out and put this in and see if that helps. We're going to pull the heat sink off of this, which is about in this area, and take the fan off of that and put a brand new fan on it. We're going to pull the power supply unit, which seems to be working fine, and we're going to put a whole new fan in that. just so I can baseline everything, have brand new fans and not have to worry about this, and make sure the machine stays cool. Oh, and by the way, since the fans are spooling up, I kept checking and feeling it. It's got great airflow in the front. It exhausts out the back. There's never any heat coming out the back. The top stays cold, if not almost cold. I even opened the lid while I was running and felt the heat sink, and it's fine. It's not running hot. So, I don't know. We'll find out. But we're going to get in there. We're going to replace that sensor. We're going to look at the thermal paste again and make sure it's all good. Heatsink's clean. Put a new fan on the heatsink. We're going to recheck every connection inside this thing and make sure everything is nice and seated and firm, because they said that might be a problem too. Who knows? Can't ever tell. So to start, went ahead and just did a shutdown on it and pulled the plug out of the back, and then let it sit. It's been about 10 minutes. We'll get everything unplugged and we're going to move it out to the table and have a look at it. And I'll take you through the process. I'll show you what I'm doing. Again, I'll leave the boring parts out. Try to make this video not so long. But there we go. We're going to get on it. Stand by. Okay, so here's what we got going. We have a couple of Noctua Re-Dux fans here. We got the common size. I can't remember the size on that, but 82 millimeter maybe. And we got a 92 millimeter for this heatsink here. They're brand new in the box. Very affordable, just $10 and $14 a piece. And all the research I did said these are probably some of the best you can get. I haven't seen any reviews or people having problems with them. So we're going to get this open. This front faceplate unclips. And that's where this little sensor sits, right over here. This piece flips up. Pull the hard drive out and we'll take the power supply unit out. Okie doke. So here we go. Got her open. As you can see, this front part just flips up like this. And over here is this plate that just snaps in to this front. There's little tabs right there that go in there, and there's a third one up here. You just go around the front and move the tab away, and that comes loose. Now it's got the speaker, and it's got this thermal sensor on it. Sits in there like that, weaves its way through around the back, and goes down and connects to the board right in that corner. I've already got it unplugged. So here's a fan wire that goes right here. And here's the speaker wire back here. So we're going to get to work on this and get the new sensor into this. Well, here's a noob mistake for you. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I've never done any of this stuff before, so I'm learning as I go. I took this apart and cleaned it, and I put the new paste on it, and as you can see, it didn't spread. Maybe that has something to do with the fan spooling up. It's just not cooling well enough. Here's the back side of the cooling block heatsink. You can see, not much contact patch there. I guess somehow I did not get that block all the way seated in there. So we're going to have to see about that. But I'm going to move on and get this fan changed. See what we can do. Okay, folks, just a couple of notes. Fan size is different as far as thickness goes, which isn't going to hurt anything, actually. This is a 35, that's probably a 28, I don't know. It's thinner, but as you can see, it's got more blades. It's actually got a really good bearing in it. It's a Noctua. And not a problem. But anyway, the other note here is there's 4 little black screws down here. So you can see that one. That attach it to this plastic duct. And the grate goes on top like this. And attaches with the regular screws. Just again, it's a little difference with the Lenovo. Also, as far as this heatsink goes, I've been looking at it. As you can see, it goes down like that. The fan goes to the front. You can see kind of like home plate for baseball. It's right on top of that. Looking a little bit more at this, here's a lever that locks it down. It goes like that. You see, there's this little tab here. That should grab the back, which would be this flange right here. Let me see if I can get you a pointer. This flange here should grab it right there. Also got this bit of a flange in the front. On the ends, on the sides, corners, whatever you want to call it. Right here, right here. And looking at this, you got a couple springs here. I think maybe I had that flange on top of these springs and that's why it didn't seat. So, apparently when you put these in, you have to take the unit and put it on an angle to get those flanges on that spring and let it come down. And then you use this to clamp it down, because then now this will be spring loaded, because these will be pushing back against it. And that's probably why it didn't smush. So I think I maybe just put it in flat and just kind of dropped it in there, and that's why it didn't work. But fortunately, we didn't blow up the computer. And maybe that's the source of all my fan speed issues. I don't know. I got a sneaking feeling it might be. Not sorry about replacing this thermal sensor, because hey, old stuff is old stuff. You get new stuff in, eliminate the problem, don't have to worry about it. But we got this fan on. We're just going to get the grill back on and get it reinstalled, and we'll see how that goes. Stand by. Okay, just to clear this up, this is a 92 millimeter by 92 millimeter by 25 millimeter thick. The old one's a 35. Again, the thickness on it isn't going to make any difference. There's no sealed intake duct here. It's just a grate. So that shouldn't be a problem. As far as that one goes, the power supply unit fan, I thought it was just a standard size of the 80 by 80, which is what I got from Noctua. 80 by 80 by 25. But probably, as you can see, let's see if I can do this, that is nowhere near the right size. And dummy me, hey, you know, these are the mistakes you make. Try measuring first. That's a 92 millimeter fan. So I don't have one on hand to replace it right now. I will do it in the future. Just keep that power supply cool. Because, hey, you're going to do one, you might as well do both. But that's going to have to wait until I actually get my hands on one. Can't get them locally. I'll have to go back to, don't mind saying, I went to Newegg for these. I'm not sponsored by them. They don't pay me anything. But their prices seem to be about the best. And there was free shipping on these two fans. Both fans together were like $24. One was $10, one was $14. Can't argue about it. But I guess we'll keep the small fan for a future project. It was only $10. We'll just, you know, keep it in the parts stash. You never know what's going to happen. Dell might have an 80 in it. I might use it, might put it in that and replace something. Who knows? Let's look at that. Yeah, that could be. That could be an 80. So hey, in the future it might change that fan out of the power supply. Who knows? But anyway, it's on hand. Not a bad thing to have. Just measure first. Don't make mistakes I make. That's why I publish these things, so you guys don't make mistakes I make. I figure it out for you. So we're going to get this back together and see if we can't get this clipped down nice and tight and spread that stuff out. I'll double check it. And if I get around to it, I will show you if that was the case. I'm pretty sure it is. So more coming. Yeah, I just got to show you this, because it's too important. Because if you get this wrong, you're going to get the problem I had, and hey, you could fry a CPU. So here's what happened. So it goes in like this. And what I did was take it down here like this, flat. and set it down like that. Now, that heatsink is not touching anything. And see, that's not right. It's catching that backside, but it's only pulling that backside down. What you got to do, you see these two springs right here, okay? Now watch. See, you tilt this. You don't put it flat, you tilt it. Get it down in there like this. And see how it goes under those springs? Like that. So let's see what we can do here. See if I can get an angle for you. Let's see what happens. That's about where it should be. Let's see if it wants to settle for me. Oh yeah. See that? That's beautiful. So make sure it's all the way back. And go ahead and latch it down. And then we'll unlatch it. And then we'll pull it out, and look at that. It's spread just the way it's supposed to. Beautiful. Okay, so there we go. I owe somebody an apology. Somebody told me to check this, and dummy me didn't listen. So there we go. Installed. Now we just gotta route the cable here. Try to take up a little space. And we'll get it all put back together. But I just wanted to show you that. It's because it's kind of important. You see, that kind of thing kind of floats on there now. So that should do a better job for me. I'll be back. Hang on. And a couple more notes that are particular to this machine. If you're ever looking for it, the CMOS battery is right here, and the CMOS jumper is right next to it. I'm not going to get into that. You can look that up. That's to reset your CMOS, your BIOS. When you change that battery, you got to set your date and time. If you ever do change the battery, when you go to boot it the first time, get into the BIOS quick. Don't let it try to boot the Windows. You will have a headache. Just interrupt, go into the BIOS, set the date and time, and hit F10 to save, and boom, let it boot, and everything should be fine. While I'm in here, look around, make sure all your connections are in nice, tight. Your SATA cable, because one of these loose in the socket or not making the right connection can actually give you an absolute headache. Especially with these Lenovos, these older ones. And this is, like, again, this is the M58P small form factor. The M58P is similar. Other ones made around that time are similar. The Tower desktop is similar. Don't remember the numbers on them, but if you have one, you know. Excuse me. But yeah, make sure all these connections are nice and tight, because a loose USB connection on these Lenovos can actually cause you all kinds of headaches. That's another thing I found out in the research. The back USBs are actually soldered to the board, so no problem there, as long as the solder points are good. Look at all your caps while you're in here. That's these little round things with the K on them. If you see the top of this swollen up, and you've been having problems, and you see one of the tops is swollen up, or you actually see brown stuff coming out, yeah, that's a bad capacitor. This unit was made in Japan. It's actually got nice components on it, and all the caps on here look really good. Oh, there's a connector I missed back here. That's nice and tight. So there you go. And here's the last thing. Your hard drive carrier. It sits on a pivot right here on this heatsink holder. It's a couple of pins. I'm going to try to show you this. There we go. See, there's a couple pins here. And that goes loose side down. You gotta pick it up a ways to get those pins in there. Like that. And it swings down. And there's a spring clip, plastic spring clip back here that actually keeps it in place. Mine's a little broken. It still does the job, but just so you see these two little tabs here? Those need to go in the little slots. So I just push it down like that and like that. And it's locked in place. You need to get it out. Just pull the tabs out. Pull up a little bit so those tabs don't go back in those slots. And you should be able to just pick up on it. If you can't, just pull this and pull like that. It's real easy. Also, if you're going to add a video card or anything else here, the PCI slot or the PCIe slot, there's a little blue tab. You just flip it up, take out the parts you need to open that up, put your card in, snap that back down, you're good to go. I like the Lenovos for how they're kind of simple. Real easy to get in here and take care of stuff. RAM's a bit of a headache to get to, just because the cable's in the way, but you can handle it. So I'm going to get this buttoned up now, and we'll see what the heck we got going. Okay, let's get some power to it and see what we got. Beautiful. I might have to use the hair dryer because this monitor doesn't like to work when it's cold. Got power, and we got to shut down. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, see, that's the monitor being cold. There we go. Got Windows 10 coming up. You can tell the fans are running. It's so quiet. Put the ear on it. Feels like it's running. There we go. Discord up. Just let it load up here. Do whatever it's going to do. I got everything plugged into it I would normally have plugged into it, so the load is just the way it was before. Sorry about that screen. That's about normal. Let's see what we can do. I have no idea what that's about, by the way. It just doesn't like to work when it's cold. I've had it shut down for, hour and a half now. But if you heat up the screen, all that lines and stuff just go away. The computer's sitting there waiting. Let's see what we got. It's seeing my headset. That's good. It is awful quiet. Wow. I feel a little bit of air. Hang on. That's drawing air. Let's see what that happens. Okay, that works all right. Google News. Now, what I was seeing before was YouTube. Let's go YouTube video. Whenever you pull up any video, even at 480p, it would immediately start to spool up the fan. So let's have a look here and see what happens. Give me a good example to work with here. Sorry guys, just trying to find something decent that's also not going to offend anybody. And by the way, the sound doesn't really matter. It does it no matter what. Here we go.
Oh yeah, one by one. Let me see you move to the beat of the drum. This that tune that
free YouTube ad.
Set it off right, make a
Woo.
Close, faster, faster.
Come on. Okay. That's at 720. I'm gonna mute that. In fact, we're gonna push. Let's see if we can do it. Yeah, 720 is as high as it goes. But I say, we can do it at 480, even at 360. That's a 720p high def. Not so bad. And I don't hear it spooling up. So either the temperature sensor or the heatsink not being seated fully, or both, were causing the problem for sure. It would be bad if it was something else on the board. But wow, it's all nice and quiet again. I love that. Yeah. Okay, Java. Go away. Video quality is pretty good for 720, and for a I think this is a 12 or 14-year-old monitor, believe it or not. That's maybe why the screen does what it does. Just don't have the $100 to replace that yet. But hey, we do in bits and pieces as we go. Soldier on. Not bad. Let's try doing some scrubbing. That always puts some stress on the video and the graphics. This machine does not have a graphics card. It's got the onboard graphics. Q45 Intel chipset. Yeah, usually 3 or 4 pops of the scrub like that, and boom, it would be spooling up. It's staying nice and quiet now. Fabulous. I think we fixed our problem. So there you go. Hope this helps some people out. I mean, it's such a little thing, and you can't ever find the information on it because the tech guys think it's kind of basic, and they don't think to mention it. But the rest of us out here are just trying to get along, fix our own stuff. We can't afford to pay somebody $75 an hour to fix our stuff. We got to do what we got to do. And as I just shown, you can do it. It's not a big deal. If you look at the Dell video, the one before this, I'd actually cleaned all the paste off of that too and reset the heatsink, and it's fine. It doesn't have any fan problems or heat problems or anything. And this Lenovo machine has always run cool and quiet. It's never been a problem. Which, by the way, also something else. There's something else in BIOS I'm going to tell you about really quick. if you go into your BIOS and look in advanced, you're going to find something called Management Engine, Intel Management, ME, Intel ME. Part of that thing has something in it called Intel QST, Quiet System Technology. It's actually your fan and temperature controls for these older machines. A lot of newer BIOS, even a year or two after this was made, you go straight in the BIOS and you can control your fan speed, set your maximum and your minimum. You can set it to run whatever you want. This is a piece of software that's an additional part of the BIOS. It sits on a ROM chip on the board. If you don't know what ROM is, look it up. I'm not going to explain that right now. But it's a program, and it has to be enabled. And if you go look through that and just check to see if it's enabled, if you're having a fan problem, that could be it. It's a little rare, but it's there, and I mention it because it is there. And some people do have problems with it, and plus last year, a lot of people are having problems with people using this management engine thing for people to have it as a backdoor to hack computers. Part of it was for IT guys for businesses to administrate, fix, look at computers remotely via the web, believe it or not. And that provided a backdoor for hackers to get in. Apparently Microsoft and Intel has fixed this, but it is there. It's part of the whole package. QST is just a part of it. There's ways to get into it. Just look up Intel ME on Google. You can get some basic instructions about how you get into it through BIOS. Usually it's Control P on the Lenovo. I don't know about anything else. Just wait for that Think Center screen to come up when you first boot, where you would normally hit F1 or F2 or F10 or whatever your machine does or enter to get into BIOS. It's Control P. And that will take you right into the Intel Management Engine, and you can work from there. There's a thing about the password, but you can look it up. It's not hard. But I mention it because it can be an issue. That QST has to be enabled. You can only check it when you get into this Management Engine BIOS thing. It's not in the regular BIOS. New computers also have Intel ME, but you may have to access it different, or maybe part of the actual base BIOS. Again, machines vary. Check your manuals, look online, find information. You can figure this out. I did it. It's a lot of stress for me because I've never done it before. Plus, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm automatically stressed. You know how that goes. But there you go. It's up, it's running, it's quiet, it's cool. Check the top. Yeah. Put my hand in the back, check, and then I don't even feel any heat coming out. It's all good. But there you go. That's the way to do it. Hope it helps you guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry for being over talkative and bloviated as normal, but I want to get the information out there for anybody that needs it. Might be going to the car show tomorrow. May have a car video for you, so keep an eye out. To my subscribers, I can't tell you. I love you guys. I love you to death. Thank you for subscribing, especially my new gamer friends who I've met through YouTube, online, through streams. You guys are awesome. You've been subscribing to me like nobody's business, and I love it. You're a big help. I can't tell you. I can't thank you enough. I can't say enough about it. Thank you guys so much. Anyway, that's it. Enough for me. I'm out of here. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.